By far the most difficult part about living in Germany were the Germans. They are really the worst. If they could all just leave, it would be... No, they were just very rude, and it's something I'm not used to. You know? But I came to respect it after a while. I came to respect it because I know now that rude people are the sign of a strong economy. That's as their way of telling the rest of the world that they don't need you, because I say Sri Lanka, for example. I meet people that visit Sri Lanka and come back all the time, and they'll tell me how beautiful it was. They'll say it was so beautiful, such a beautiful place. But more than anything else, the people were so lovely. They're the nicest, kindest, most hospitable people I've met in my entire life. And I'm just thinking, yeah, that's because they need your tourist money, you idiot. Our kindness is a hustle, all right? That's what it is. If we were half as nice to each other as we are to tourists, I would still be at home. We have all sorts of hilarious cottage industries around the island. We'll do anything for a buck. My favorite is we have a very funny industry of straight male prostitutes in the southern part of the island. They're called beach boys. You'll find them in the south along a beach. First, you have to look for like an older European divorcee. You can't tell someone's a divorcee by looking at them, but you can, though, you know? Like, there's lots of linen and flowy scarves, that's the vibe. And the guys are usually sort of very surfer-looking guys, and they'll just usually partner up with them. Sometimes they'll even go home and go home back to Europe with them and get married. It's hilarious. It's a great scam. It's so amazing. And the guys are usually very surfer-looking guys, you know, like darker skin, longer hair, and I'm just saying, if this comedy shit don't work out, I got options, all right? I've been a whore for free for most of my life. I might as well go pro. This is... I feel like the same thing doesn't quite happen here, though. Like, you don't get that much sex tourism in the UK. You don't get women from other parts of the world flying into the UK and going to a Wetherspoons in Bolton. Cruising for a builder named Raj. It just doesn't work out like that. I started doing comedy there, and that was really nice. You know, this is really the first thing I've done in my life that I feel like is for me. The only problem was, it was exhausting. I still work a full-time job. I was at the time, and I work all day and do this at night. I was just, you know, like, this sitting down thing is not a part of the act. I'm just tired. You know how exhausting it is being this exceptional? Right? I'm 27 years old. You look in my eyes, that's a 72-year-old man looking back at you. But a lot of the people I started comedy with, I just noticed that they had a lot more free time. They were a lot more chill. A lot of them didn't work jobs even. I wondered how that was working. And they just said, like, no, you know, we if you're European or from other countries, you can just claim unemployment. And you got to check every month, and that's all right. And I was a very jealous, resentful young man at the time. I was just mad that I had to work so hard my whole life to have access to this life, and these people got it just by default. So much so that I looked it up, and apparently Berlin had a 10% unemployment rate. 10%, that's 3 times Germany's national average. And then I was wondering, how is this even economically possible? Like, who's supporting all of these people, some of which are choosing not to support themselves? And then I remembered that 60% of my salary that wasn't actually my salary. I was like, oh shit, am I supporting these European kids' dreams? Is this a reverse Angelina Jolie situation? What is happening? You know, I understand that high taxes are a big part of the reason that life in a country like that is so nice, but a warning would have been cool. You know? I remember the day I got my first paycheck there. I read the first line with the total amount, and that was more money than I had seen in my entire life before that point in one place. And then I read the second line about how much they took away, and realized that in one day I had more money taken away from me than I'd ever seen in my entire life before that point. It was very conflicting. I didn't know whether to be happy or sad. I felt like I'd been blindfolded and given the greatest blowjob of my life, and later found out it was by a raccoon. I didn't... For my conscience, I need y'all to know that that joke doesn't make sense. And it only works because raccoons are inherently humorous creatures. I was dating a lot when I was there. German girls were far more practical than I expected. This one girl, we got together towards the beginning of winter, and she broke up with me towards the beginning of summer. It turns out she was just in it for the body heat. That's not even the worst one. This other girl, she was real smart. She was getting doing her PhD at the time, writing her thesis. I used to like her a lot. She used to ask very interesting, insightful questions about Sri Lanka, about my culture, about where I'm from. It made me feel very special until I found out she was writing her thesis in South Asian studies. And I found it. I found it, and I read it, and everything I said was referenced to native number 4. How many? How many innocent ethnic men had this